Sanctuary states will give them driver's licenses, they'll give them commercial driver's licenses, they'll give them in-state tuition because they're protecting the illegal immigrant community because they see a future political benefit.
Another story that is not being covered by the rest of the media. Jake Tapper's not talking about this. In fact, they have given this story zero attention over the last 2 weeks. We looked. Over the last 14 days, 4 Joe Biden illegal aliens have killed 4 more innocent Americans on U.S. highways. And this has been happening for the last several years. Going back to June of 2024, a crash in California left a 5-year-old girl with a traumatic brain injury. She will never walk again. In August of 2025, an illegal alien driving in Florida killed 3 Americans. In November of 2025, an illegal alien killed 2 Americans in Oregon driving an 18-wheeler. In February of 2026, an illegal alien killed 4 Americans in Indiana. In May of 2026, an illegal alien driver in California driving a semi killed 2 more Americans. Just this month, a Pennsylvania state trooper was killed by a Haitian illegal alien, and a star soccer player from UMass Lowell was killed by an illegal alien truck driver that didn't speak a word of English and required an interpreter at the scene of the crime. Police had to wait to arrest him for an interpreter to arrive. That's where we are in America right now. James Uthmeier is the Attorney General for the state of Florida, one of the few states that's been fighting against this. We're also joined by Florida Congressman Randy Fine. It's great to have you both. Mr. Attorney General, in May, the Supreme Court rejected a lawsuit from the state of Florida over commercial driver's licenses for illegal aliens. Why would they do that?
I tell you what, thank God we have a president shutting down the border here in Florida. We've seen the results of that. Plummeting crime, violent crime, drug crimes. We're doing everything right. If only we had a judicial system and leftist states that wanted to respect rule of law. We sued California because we can do everything right here in Florida, but it doesn't matter if they want illegals in, if they want to illegally give them driver's licenses, truck licenses, and then send them on the roads where they hurt our citizens. So it's a shame that the court would not take that case. Nevertheless, we're doing everything we can. We're prosecuting to the fullest if we find these people. We've implemented screening at our weigh stations, and we're continuing to investigate both civilly and criminally the companies that are giving out these licenses to people that cannot even read English.
And these blue states. And if you ever go to a foreign country, by the way, and you read the signs or you try looking at the signs, it's like impossible. So that's what these people are doing on our highways. Congressman, it's good to see you. I guess I just don't understand at this point why this is not a bipartisan issue. Getting these people who should not be driving 40-ton 18-wheelers off U.S. highways.
Well, because Democrats don't care about the law. Keep in mind, they want anyone who wants to come to America to be able to come here and do whatever they want. This, for them, is not a bug. It is a feature. They want to push driver's licenses into the hands of illegal immigrants, if for no other reason it makes it easier for them to vote. What we need to do federally is we need to strip federal transportation funding for every state that's choosing to give people who shouldn't even be in our country at all driver's licenses, especially those that can be used for commercial purposes. You're not supposed to be here. You shouldn't be driving on our roads. You shouldn't be driving trucks, and you certainly shouldn't be killing people.
Yeah, especially driving trucks. Mr. Attorney General, this was interesting to me. So the Supreme Court turned you down. I don't understand why. I suppose they're busy, but you think this would take priority. Democrats sued the Trump administration when he tried passing a rule, not a law, a rule, to stop people who don't speak English from getting these CDL driver's licenses. Why would Democrats do that? If you don't speak English, that means you can't read English. That means you shouldn't be driving around in an 18-wheeler on U.S. highways. I honestly, for the life of me, do not understand that. It's so common sense.
I think the congressman said it well. They want these people here. They want to break the law. They want to give them these jobs and opportunities. And it's because they realize that their points, their policies, they do not win at the ballot box. People are voting with their feet. They're moving to red states like Florida. And so their strategy is to bring in illegal immigrants, try to help them vote, try to help them live here, have kids. Our enemies from China can come here and have a child, even though they don't live here. Nevertheless, the child gets the blessings of our citizenship that used to mean something. This is their strategy to maintain control when ultimately we have the truth, we are right on policy, and we will prevail. So we've got to keep fighting with everything we've got. We've got to start to question judicial supremacy when they don't have jurisdiction and are not looking out for American sovereignty.
Yeah, and we cover this story, Congressman, and we've talked about this. It's basically because the rest of the media won't talk about this. And these people, are fallen Americans. They deserve a voice. You tweeted that this is what happens when Democrats open the borders and hand out CDLs to people who don't belong here. This is after that UMass Lowell soccer player was killed in Ohio, just run over. Police got to the scene, tried to arrest this guy, but you can't Mirandize somebody and read them their rights when they don't understand English. So then they had to wait several hours to find an interpreter who could speak his language and come to the scene of the crime. I guess my question is, do you think this matters to voters in November on both sides of the aisle?
Well, it doesn't matter to voters on both sides of the aisle. It matters to voters on one side of the aisle. We have to accept the fact that we no longer share the same set of values in this country. We're no longer one giant American family. The left has decided that they hate America. They want to destroy America. And part of the way that they do that is by flooding our country with people who don't share our values, don't speak our language, don't want to learn our language, don't obey our laws. And it's a way to break down American society. The media doesn't cover this because they support it. That's why they don't cover it. And we have to stop waiting for the other side to share our values. We simply need to defeat them and make sure that our values win.
Yeah, it's a good point. They cover it by covering it up and not talking about it. Attorney General James Uthmeier, Congressman Randy Fine, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.